This is the biggest heist of all time for the Chicago Bulls, as there has been a lot of trade rumors surrounding the NBA right now, with some players not fitting perfectly on their teams, and with the Bulls known to be interested in moving on from Patrick Williams, we now see a scenario where the Chicago Bulls can pull off an absolute heist and really start building a great team for the future at the same time, in a move that no Bulls fan should be against. And we are going to discuss all of this, what this move is, and the impact that it will have on the Bulls for years to come. But before we do that, guys, make sure to subscribe if you're part of that 76% that's not subscribed to Bulls Digest. We have a lot of videos coming out right now as training camp is coming in hot, and once that happens, there's going to be a ton of moves going on, a ton of decisions, and we are going to be making videos on all of them. But with all that being said, let's jump into the video because there is a lot to go over for the Chicago Bulls. As we know, the Bulls have had a fairly quiet offseason thus far, where the main focus for this team is retaining Josh Giddey on a contract that does not feel like an overpay, and if anything, is going to be a bargain deal, considering the way that Josh Giddey did finish out his season with the Bulls. Giddey's a restricted free agent. There has been some talk of the qualifying offer, though I really don't think that'll happen. The Bulls are not budging over $20 million per year, and Giddey is not budging over or under $30 million per year. Why is there not that easy $25 million compromise? Because neither side thinks that it's the right price, and because of that, here we are in turmoil. However, outside of that, the Bulls do have other moves that they can make that don't directly impact the Josh Giddey situation, and if anything, can impact the Patrick Williams situation, and by that I mean moving on from Patrick Williams, something the Bulls do want to do with this team. And now there has been a ton of talk surrounding trades, and one trade in particular that is so perfect for the Chicago Bulls. It does give up a first-round draft pick, but at the same time, it would be so worth it, as in a recent proposed trade, the Chicago Bulls would be receiving RJ Barrett in exchange for Patrick Williams, Jevon Carter, and a first-round pick that was not specified. Now, as long as it's not this year's first-round pick, that is an absolute steal. And even if it is this year's first-round pick, that still is a good trade. You throw a top 2 protection on that pick just in case, maybe a top 3, call it a day. If they want extra second-round picks because you did that, sure. If you could pull off a deal to bring RJ Barrett into this team while moving on from Patrick Williams' contract and also just trading away Jevon Carter, you do that every single time. No questions asked. You just say yes and you go with it. Now, as we know, there have been some serious changes to the Toronto Raptors recently, as the Raptors did fire Masai Ujiri. Masai Ujiri is one of the smartest minds in basketball, so he's not there to prevent the Raptors from screwing this up right now, meaning the Bulls have an excellent chance to strike while the Raptors are trying to figure out life after Masai, and with RJ Barrett being involved in trade talks because of the acquisition the Raptors made to bring in Brandon Ingram. There is talk that RJ Barrett is on his way out, so the Raptors can begin to start Grady Dick next to Brandon Ingram, have Scotty at the 4, and then keep Jakob Poeltl at the 5 in that whole experience. Now, RJ, if he becomes the odd man out because his fit could be difficult next to a guy like a Scotty Barnes and a Brandon Ingram, the Chicago Bulls are the perfect place to put RJ Barrett. Now, just taking a look at a lot of what was mentioned in this, Sports Illustrated said one of the top names swirling in the rumor mill is Toronto Raptors shooting guard RJ Barrett. It doesn't sound like the Raptors are desperate to move on from him, but they are willing to move him for players that fit better for what they are trying to do in Toronto. While Barrett is not a superstar, he's a very solid player who can have a significant impact on a good team and help them win. One team that could go after them has the pieces to get him is the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have been involved in a lot of trade rumors because they have pieces and are a team looking to make that jump from a team fighting to make the playoffs every year to a team making the playoffs and making noise when they get there. And this situation, here's the big thing about it. I will say, for reference, I'm very high on RJ Barrett. I have been for a while. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. So with that in mind, I am very much pro go get RJ Barrett on a steal. I think that he's just a great player that still has the opportunity to jump into a real star, but he hasn't found himself in the perfect situation yet. And the Chicago Bulls look like they could be that perfect situation just based off the roster that would be around him. Because there would be other talent, yes. I think he fits well with Josh Giddey, the way that Giddey's been able to start shooting the ball. And on top of that, you just look at the rest of this team. RJ slides in well as a small forward, replacing Patrick Williams. You have Buzelis at the 4, or you could put RJ at the 2 and Buzelis at the 3. And you have a nice team going for you that's going to be very, very fun to watch. And Barrett is still deceivingly young, which is one of the things about him that we have to consider. RJ Barrett's only 25 years old. He's been in the NBA since 2019, or really the 2019-2020 season, but he is still just 25 years old. Last year, he put up 21.1 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists, doing a little bit of everything, also getting a steal per game, showing solid defense, shooting 35% from 3 and 47% from the field. Barrett has always been a very clutch player who likes to play with the ball in his hands, and the Bulls could use another scorer having the ball in his hands, with Coby White being the only other guy, and White being heavily mentioned in a lot of trade talks as well. White could likely get traded, or will likely get traded, just based off what we've heard from the Bulls. I mean, it's already been said multiple times that the Bulls likely don't believe they'll be able to retain Coby White, so they will look to move him, and they'll look to move Nikola Vucevic. That's a lot of scoring out the window that you're moving, and are mainly going to be looking for some sort of draft capital or something for it. RJ Barrett comes in, he solves your scoring problem, and then you have a nice two-man game with him and Josh Giddey, with Buzelis, who's going to continue to grow into a player as well. And RJ Barrett, really for one of the first times in his career, gets to be a number 1 scoring option. I mean, it'll be a mix between him, Giddey, Buzelis for sure. I mean, again, there's a world where Coby White is traded, because there is a likely scenario where Coby White gets traded. But with all that in mind, what we would see from RJ Barrett is a guy who has shown up and shown out when he is the number 1 option on a team. He's only rarely gotten that nod. From around February 1st to the rest of the season in 2022 with the New York Knicks, Barrett became the number 1 scoring option, and he looked like he was about to blossom into a star. Now, the field goal numbers, the three-point numbers, they were not excellent. 40% from the field, 32.5% from 3 is nothing special. But putting up 25 points per game, 6 rebounds, nearly 4 assists while playing solid defense does show that RJ Barrett does have that skill, and the efficiency has climbed a bit throughout his career as well. He's become a more efficient player who's become smarter with his shots, is excellent going downhill, and if you're starting a guy like Jalen Smith out there at center, or Zach Collins out there, or even Vooch if he's still there, you have a center who could space the floor, giving RJ Barrett more one-on-one room to work in that painted area, which is where RJ does his best damage. Now, on top of that, you look at what the Bulls would be giving up. They'd be moving on from Patrick Williams, who put up 9 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. His defense is good, yes, don't get me wrong, but at this point, it just feels like Patrick Williams, if anything, just desperately needs a change of scenery. And then on top of that, you give up Javon Carter, and frankly, I mean, is that really 4 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 37% from the field, 33% from 3? I like Javon Carter as a player. I liked him at WVU, but it's not going to move me. Now, on top of that, Sports Illustrated explains it saying, the Bulls add Barrett, who would immediately step into one of their best players. He's a huge offensive upgrade over both Williams and Carter. While someone adding a superstar is always the ideal outcome, Barrett is a player who could help this team win and make a big jump in a wide-open Eastern Conference. And Barrett, again, first time he'd really get to be in that world. Meanwhile, Barrett is a good player, and as they mentioned why the Raptors would say yes, he's not necessarily the best fit in Toronto. Williams and Carter can slot in this season, while the Raptors also add a first-round pick and get out from under Barrett's contract, which is almost $10 million more annually than what Williams is making. Carter is on a very tradable contract that expires after this upcoming season, so this move would give them both assets and much more financial flexibility. Yes, that is true. That is very, very true that RJ Barrett does make $10 million more than Patrick Williams. But here are Patrick Williams' numbers. We're going to make that bigger so you guys can see it. Patrick Williams has played 5 seasons in the NBA. Put up 9 points, 9 points, 10 points, 10 points, 9 points. That's for 9.6 points per game for his career. Okay? Javon Carter averages 5 points per game. Has had 1 season in his career where he's averaged more than 5 points per game. RJ Barrett averages 20 points per game, or nearly 20 points per game, 19. And frankly, he's been great. I mean, he moved over to Toronto, has been putting up 21, 22 points per game since getting to the Raptors, and was good with the Knicks as well, had a lot of moments. And remember, when he was with the Knicks, he was with Julius Randle in a lineup that made the playoffs. But Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, Nerlens Noel. It wasn't a team that could shoot the ball at all, so it wasn't an optimal fit for RJ Barrett. And now the Raptors aren't one either. So yeah, you can go and say, well, is RJ Barrett just not a good fit anywhere? No, not necessarily true. He's just been on 2 teams that haven't really decided to ever really be like, we're going to build around him. We're going to work hard to build this team around him. No team ever did that. Now the Bulls have a chance to do that, and all you give up is Patrick Williams in the process, which honestly, I don't think anyone should worry about the fact that RJ Barrett makes $10 million more per year than Patrick Williams. Williams makes $18 million per year. RJ makes around 30. Here's the difference. RJ averages 10 more points per game than Patrick Williams does. For his career and from last season alone, he averages 12 more. So it's an easy move for the Bulls to just take a quick win. And again, I know you give up a first-round pick, and I know that sucks considering everything. But if you move Kobe White, you're likely going to get draft capital anyway back in return. And frankly, the Bulls hate tanking, so how likely is it that we're really going to see them try to stay down in the dumps for long? Also, tanking rarely ever works. It worked once for like the Spurs with Wemby. Outside of that, name a team that tanked recently for like actually did the tank and now they're at the top. Teams have been bad and got there. Again, just to mention, because RJ was the guy who was supposed to fix that. RJ didn't fix the Knicks. He wasn't drafted, and then all the things up. The Knicks had missed the playoffs for, 4 years prior to that? And then on top of that, they just signed Jalen Brunson from Chicago, and, things changed. So, it comes down to the fact that tanking I don't believe in, and at the same time, if you can get RJ Barrett on this cheap trade deal, and also get rid of Patrick Williams, A+, man. A+. There's the A. It's not a very good A, but A+, man. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Let me know what you think about this trade. I will catch you on the next one.